All right, today we're going to go through basic maintenance on the GCE Zen-O. And that's going to entail replacing the internal sieve beds, the output filter, and then also the compressor filters as well. As long as we're in there, we're going to just replace everything that we have. So typical items you're going to need. So you're going to need your new sieve beds. And this is the GCE part number RS-00513. You're going to need the universal cannula tool to remove the cannula barb, and that part number is RS-00544. The Zen-O cannula filter, which is RS-00500. And then last but not least, the actual compressor intake filters, which is RS-00526. So that's a lot of part numbers. I'm going to make sure to put them down below. That way you guys have those as well. We do have all those here at Main Clinic Supply for sale, ready to go and ship out. And there's only two tools you're going to need. So you're going to need a 2.5 Allen, and then you're going to need a 7mm socket. So that's going to be the 2.5 is to remove the bolts on front of the housing, and then the 7mm is going to be for removing the two bolts that are on the sieve beds themselves. So first thing we're going to do, obviously we're going to make sure we have no battery installed, no powers on the unit before we open it up. So there's nothing in there. So first thing we're going to do is remove, there's two screws on the bottom of the front housing. So we're going to take our 2.5 Allen and unscrew those. All right, so to remove it, you're going to start on the bottom and just pull slightly up. And this is going to be the toughest part here. So once you get it up just a little bit, let's see, make sure our screws are all the way undone. I think that might be part of the issue here. There we go. So you'll pull it all the way up and off. And we'll set that aside. So now we got the inside of the Zen-O unit. We have our sieve beds right here. And then the compressor filters, you'll notice, are going to be located down here. But we're going to start with the sieve beds as long as we're in here. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull this tubing out of here. There we go. And now you're going to notice on each side, there's going to be that 7mm nut that's holding it down. So we'll take our 7mm socket and then unscrew those. And then make sure to keep those two nuts aside because we'll reuse those. And then these will just pull straight up out of the Zen-O unit. So there we go. And then we're going to make sure there's going to be 4 gaskets. You can see they're black here. We're going to make sure those come out on here. If not, sometimes they are left out on there and can cause some issues. So just make sure that they're still located here. And if not, you can just take them off the Zen-O and get rid of them. So we're going to set those away and get out our new sieve beds for the Zen-O. They will come with the instructions here as well, so it gives you a little bit more of a visual diagram if you need. And here's our brand new set. All right. So they're going to come with these little covers on there, and that just helps to protect the zeolite material inside. So we're going to take these off and then put them on our Zen-O. And just remember, when you're putting them on, which side the tubing comes off of. You're going to have one with a full opening and then one with just a hole on it. So the hole will go towards the side that does not have that tubing. So we'll remove the clips off of our sieve beds. There they are. And just double checking that I do have those same little O-rings on these before I put them on. And then we're just going to slide these back over like that. And now we're going to put on the 7mm nuts, and just make sure we're not tightening them down too much, because that's when stuff breaks. So just make sure they're finger tight. That's all they need to be. Let me get both of them started here. All right, just finger tight. And just finger tight there. Now I'm going to re-insert our tubing here. All right, so that was the first step for the sieve beds. And again, as long as we're in here, we're going to replace the compressor filters as well. So you're going to notice that there are two of them right here. So 1, 2, and these will just unscrew, and then we can screw the new ones in. So I'm just going to use my fingers and go counterclockwise on both of them. All right, so there's one. And 2. And again, I always set all my old stuff away from the new stuff. That way it doesn't get mixed up accidentally. So we got our new ones right here. And we're just gonna do the exact opposite and rethread these on. We're gonna find the holes. And again, these are just going to be finger tight. They don't need to be cranked down for any reason. There's one. And 2. All right. So that should be everything inside the Zen-O that we need to get replaced. So now we're good to put the case back on. And we're just going to basically do the opposite. We're going to put the case on starting at the top and then push it down over to the bottom. And then I do still have the screws in here, which I'm going to take out real quick so they don't fall out. All right, so again, we're going to start on the top, and then we're going to stretch it over. And we're just going to make sure everything sits nice and flush once it comes on here. All right, so top is flush. See, the bottom is flush. Now we're going to put our screws back in with our 2.5 Allen. one's tight. And again, finger tight is all you need. You don't need to over tighten it. Since it is plastic, it can break. And finger tight is all it needs to be. All right, so we got our sieve beds installed and our compressor intake filters installed. And now we're gonna move on to doing the cannula filter. And then I'm gonna walk you through how to do a leak test on the machine to make sure that we have everything installed properly. So the cannula filter, you're gonna notice, is gonna be underneath this cannula barb, and you're gonna need a special tool for that. So I'm gonna open up our universal cannula tools piece. So this is good for both the Zen-O and Zen-O Lite. One side is going to be for the Zen-O, and then the other is for the Zen-O Lite. So what you do is you take this and you place it over your cannula barb, and there's going to be two little prongs that lock in, and then we're just going to spin this off here counterclockwise. And you can see our cannula filter is right there. So we can just take it out. You can set it aside. And we're gonna open up our cannula filters here. So you're gonna notice they come as like about a 10 pack here. So it's good for quite a few different changes. All right, so now I'm just going to put our new filter right inside our cannula barb there, and then we're just going to rethread it back on here. And I like to start it with my fingers first, that way we don't cross thread anything when putting it in. So I just got a couple threads on there. I'm going to take my tool here, and we're just gonna do, again, finger tight. All right, that's perfect. So now we're gonna walk through doing the leak test. So we're gonna wanna plug it in to our AC power supply, and we're gonna leave the machine off. All right, so again, with the unit turned off, we're going to push down the battery icon and also the mode icon, and we're going to hold them both down for a couple seconds, and we're going to see the leak test text appear on the display. So I'm going to hold these down. So there it says leak test. And now just pressurizing the device to make sure it's holding pressure internally. All right, and I got a test passed. If you do see the test did not pass across the screen, there is a chance that something wasn't installed properly. You may be missing an O-ring, or the O-ring may be left on there from the prior sieve beds that we removed, and that could be causing it to leak. All right, so we got our test passed on the display here. So the next thing we're gonna wanna do is just press and hold down on the mode button one more time just to exit. All right, so from here we wanna turn the machine on, and we're gonna put it into a diagnostic mode. So we're gonna press the power button, let it turn on here. All right, so now we're gonna basically do the reset on here. So we're gonna press and hold the plus and minus button at the same time. And you're going to see this diagnostic screen come up here. So we're going to use our plus button until we get over to the screen that shows our sieve hours. All right, so here we go. 412 hours on this sieve. All right, so we're gonna press and hold the mute button until you see that hour counter go to 0. So here's our mute button, and we're gonna press and hold that. All right, so now we reset the sieve on the machine, so you see that 0 hours there. So now we can exit this diagnosis mode by pressing either the battery or the mode button. All right, so now we're back to our main screen here. All right, so now that we've reset the sieve counter, we can shut the device off by pressing the power button. All right, so that is basic maintenance on our Zen-O concentrator from GCE. So again, we replaced the sieve beds, the compressor filters, and then also our output or cannula filter, depending on how you want to call it. Those are the 3 main things that we change on these devices to help keep them running properly. And then also walked you through doing the diagnostic mode to reset the sieve bed counter. So that way the machine knows that we have brand new ones in here. If you do ever have any questions while doing this, you can always give us a call here at Main Clinic Supply to our service team. We're happy to answer any questions on these. And again, we do have all the parts and supplies that you need available for doing your basic maintenance for these devices.